Hey there, my conscious celestials. My name is 𝗘𝗫𝗣𝗟𝗇 and I'm here to help you consciously create the life that you desire. Okay, so let me tell you something about the law of assumption, or just the law. The law doesn't care about what you want. Wanting something is not going to bring that to you. You're going to continue to want. The law doesn't discriminate. The law doesn't care if something is good for you, is bad for you, nothing like that. The law doesn't care about those things. All the law cares about is what you generate within. The states, the feelings, the assumptions that you generate within, and then the law is going to create that for you. The law also doesn't decide for you. It is always your decision. It's always down to you. The law isn't deciding for you. The law isn't saying that you can and you can't have this. The law is only going to allow you to experience what you generate inside. So if you want a desirable reality, but you refuse to make your internal reality desirable, and you start to manifest out of fear, you start to think from fear, you start, trying to manifest out of fear and all of that kind of stuff, then you probably guessed it, the law is then going to manifest those fears for you. Because like I said, just wanting something, if you just want something, but you are not generating that desirable reality inside, the law is only going to allow you to experience what you are generating. And that is probably your fears. And that is why your fears, not just your fears in general, but the fears that you are focusing on, you are planning for, you're in that state of fear and you fully trust that this thing is going to happen, and you start planning from it, and you start, thinking it's going to happen, and you're planning, you're doing X, Y, Z to try and not make it happen. Because you are generating that within, you are generating the fear, you are feeding the fear, you are reinforcing it. That is what is going to manifest, the fears. And that is because fear is such like a powerful manifesting process. It's such a powerful manifesting power because of what we choose to do in our minds when it comes to fear. Basically, how you act, how you think, how you feel when there is something that you fear and it has come to pass is how you manifest in general. Again, it is manifesting. You're always manifesting, whether it's good or bad. But the same process and the feelings and all that kind of stuff and what you do in your mind, what you generate within when it comes to fear, is exactly how you would manifest what you want, just in the opposite direction. Fear is basically the perfect trust. And it is the perfect trust because you fear that thing so much that you just know and you just believe that this thing is going to happen. Like I said, you start acting from that place, you start planning for that thing to happen, you start doing things because you really truly believe that this particular thing is going to happen. And then when it does happen, you're surprised, but you did everything internally from that place. And like I said in a previous video, and like I will always tell you, when you want to manifest something, you have to create that particular reality within and think from that place. So when it comes to fear, if you are thinking from that place and you're continuously generating that, thinking from that place, etc., then of course the fear has to manifest, because the law doesn't discriminate between what is good or bad for you, whether it's a good thing for you or not. The law is just going to allow you to experience what you are generating inside. It's the same thing as when we try to manifest out of fear. So if there is a situation that you really you think it's going to happen, you're scared it's going to happen, etc., so then you start to be like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to go do this, or try and manifest the opposite. You are already trusting and believing that particular thing is going to happen. That is your state. That is the state that you are at. So you are continuing to generate that fear, and you keep feeding it, and you keep reinforcing it by you now. I don't know if it's hard to explain, but by you now, there being something that you fear so much that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go and do this to go and get the opposite. All you are doing is continuing to generate that fear. And like I said, you are continuing to reinforce it, give it power, give it meaning, all that kind of stuff. And that is why that fear will then manifest. So not all is lost. Like I said, one thing I'm going to say as well is, of course, the things that can happen that manifest out of fear might be bad. And, you know, more times than not, they are bad. But one thing I'm going to suggest is, like I said, see how you manifested that fear just from like an observer's perspective. See how you manifested that fear and understand and realize that everything that you did regarding that fear, and obviously how it came to pass, is how you manifest in the direction that you actually want things to go. Like I said, fear is the perfect trust, and it's just manifesting but in the opposite direction. But everything you are doing relating to that fear is how you will then manifest things that you actually want. So as well, just because you fear something doesn't mean that it has to happen. Doesn't mean that it has to happen. Allow whatever that fear is. Allow whatever that fear, that scenario, whatever you are afraid of, allow yourself to feel that. Allow that, you know, those thoughts, all of that to come through. Allow it, because by resisting it and fighting it, you're actually just giving it more power, and again you are reinforcing it. So first of all, you need to allow that fear, allow the feelings that come up. And like I said, don't panic and start to think, oh my gosh, now I need to go and like do this manifestation technique to make sure it doesn't happen, etc., etc. By doing that, what you are really saying is that you have accepted that particular scenario that you fear, you have accepted that thing is already done. You are coming from a place of knowing and trusting and believing that particular thing is already done, and that is why it then manifests, because you have already decided, you've already thought, you've already trusted that it's going to happen, so much so to the point that you're now trying to do something against it to combat it, because what you really believe, although you're saying that you want this other thing, what you really believe is that this particular thing is going to happen, and by the law that thing has to happen, because that's what you truly feel. That's what you truly feel and know is going to happen. Just because you want something else to happen, just because you want something else to happen in a more desirable way, if you truly think and feel as if this particular thing that you fear is going to happen, and then you start like panicking and trying to like manifest something against it, you're going to manifest the opposite of what you say you want, because your true feelings, your true state is of that thing that you don't want. So my most important thing is, don't ever manifest out of fear. So instead, focus entirely on what you want. Don't, like I said, don't go into something thinking, oh, I have to do this because I don't want this to happen. You have to abandon that. First of all, like I said, you have to feel it. Allow the fear to pass through you. Don't try to fight it, like I said, by instantly going and trying to like manifest something against it. Don't try to fight it, feel it. But instead, and then once you've done that, instead focus just entirely on what you want. Don't even think about or worry about that potential other thing happening. Your focus has to be fully on what it is that you actually want to happen, and focus so much so on the desirable state that the fear will no longer make sense. Once you are fully focusing on what you actually want, whatever those fears are or were won't make sense anymore, because you're not even thinking about that. You're not even giving energy to that. You're not giving power to that. You are just completely focused on what you want, and you're completely trusting and knowing that what you want is already yours. So to have those fears about this thing not happening or going wrong doesn't make sense. Like, it's insane to think that you have that particular thing that you want. Why would you then fear that you don't have it or something bad's going to happen when you already have it right there, if that makes sense? So one thing I would suggest as well is, like I said, when the fears come up and you've allowed yourself to feel it, don't straight away feel as if you now have to go into just focusing on what you want. Again, if you're doing that out of fear, that also isn't a good thing. Allow those feelings, sit with those feelings, be with those feelings, be with those fears, and allow them. It doesn't then mean, like I said, that 10 minutes after you then have to go and focus on what you want. If you need a day or two, you need it to pass, go do something else, go distract yourself with something else, go do something that you enjoy, whatever. And when you are no longer in, when you're not in that state anymore, when you're not there sitting and thinking about the fears, then go into focusing on what it is that you want. You don't have to do it straight away. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to like cancel it out or anything like that. All you need to do is allow it. And then when you are ready, focus on the thing that you actually want to happen. So if you've wanted something and the opposite has come, it's more than likely that you have tried to manifest that particular thing out of the fear of the thing that you didn't want happening. So manifesting out of fear is just a big no-no. If you're trying to manifest something because you don't want something else to happen, don't do it. Your focus should always just be on what it is that you want. And I've been there. I've been there too, especially towards the start. I remember that there was an exam that I did that I was like, I just felt terrible about. I really felt like I did really bad. I wasn't going to pass it, etc., etc. And so because I was so scared that I wasn't going to do well, I then thought, okay, no, I'm just going to manifest that I did good, blah, blah, blah. Like, but I'm doing it out of fear. I'm doing it out of fear that I didn't do well. I've already accepted and I've already decided that I didn't do well on that exam. So now, oh my gosh, I have to go and quickly try and manifest and do whatever and like, you know, try and get the grades that I want, etc., etc. And we can all, based on this video, we can all guess what happened. My fears came true and I didn't do as well on that exam. I didn't do well on the exam basically, but that is because I was manifesting out of fear. Instead of allowing that fear to pass and then just completely focusing on what I want, I was doing it from a place of, I'm so scared that I've not done well on this exam. I need to go quickly manifest doing well. Like, that is not the way to go. Never manifest out of fear. So yeah, I hope that video has helped. I hope it's helped you to understand, one, why you should never manifest out of fear, and why sometimes when you are trying to manifest something, the opposite happens. So as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.